Okay, hello, ladies, and welcome to this edition of This Is Your Best Year. And we've been running a series on boss women. So we have a woman today who is a boss in more ways than one. And she's going to talk with us about women's safety, how we can keep ourselves safe as we navigate the world. Today we have Mrs. Demetra Bradley. She is in law enforcement. She's an entrepreneur. She's the owner of Foxy Defense and Protection, LLC. She is also a wife and a mother of a newborn. So before we get to the subject matter, Demetria, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your journey to law enforcement?
Yes. So, as she just mentioned, I am Demetra Bradley, and I first entered law enforcement. Let's see. I'm gonna say through the military in 2009. But where did my interest draw? From my mom. So my mom was a correctional officer, and I saw her go to work, very hard every day, and I was curious as to where she wanted to do that for. Like, why would you want to do that? And she would come home and tell me, about the encounter she had with the people. And if we were out shopping, I would see people that may have been locked up, and she would see them too. And they would be like, oh, hey, Mama Lee, this is what I'm doing now. I'm doing better. I've improved, and blah, 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 blah. So just to see the type of effect that she had on somebody as a correctional officer, I was like, man, I want to do that. I can do that. I want to be that change too. So I told her that, and she made sure that I ended up going to the correct high school in Fort Worth ISD to graduate with an emphasis in law enforcement. So Eastern Hills had a special interest program that was considered law and government, pretty much was the title of it. And if you wanted to graduate in one of those fields, that was the high school you went to in Fort Worth ISD. So I graduated from Eastern Hills, and then of course from there ended up going to the #1 school for criminal justice, which is Sam Houston State University. And from there I ended up doing an internship with Texas game wardens and a local police department here in the DFW Metroplex to see what part of law enforcement did I want to work in. But while I was in school, I worked at the jail in Walker County and did the exact same thing that my mom did every day. So I was able to really communicate and grow our relationship through talking about, Mama, I saw that too, and this is what we did, and I had that same effect, and that sort of stuff. So it was really fun for us to grow our own relationship based off on just a common interest in the job. So I went to school, graduated 2009, joined the Army same year, came back and said, I don't know if I want to do law enforcement down 45 this way, because Houston traffic, if you've ever been to Houston, y'all know how that traffic is.
Mm.
Yes. And I did not want to sit in all of that. So I said, I'm just gonna come back home. I'll apply for law enforcement when I get back home. And I came back to Fort Worth, applied for Fort Worth PD. I want to say 3 years in a row, because you have to have a certain score in order to get a call back. So about 1,300 people take the test for the city of Fort Worth every year that is offered. And they're accepting applications right now. So if you don't make 95 or above, you're more than likely not going to get a call back to come and take the physical fitness test to move forward in the process. So that's what happened to me. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I thought an 89 was a good grade. And so the second year I said, you know what? Okay, I got to figure out something. I got to study whatever it is I need to study so I can make a higher score on this test. So did that, and I ended up getting a call back that third year. So God works in mysterious ways. His timing is the perfect timing. So I'm just fine with that. I worked for the city in the municipal court until I was able to join the police department. So that was where my interest came from, was my mom, just seeing her in law enforcement. So yeah, so I've been a police officer for the city of Fort Worth for 8 years.
Oh, God.
And yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been 8 years, but I've been there 8 years. And when people say it flies by, I understand that now. So it's flown by pretty well, and I'm enjoying it. So can't do anything but go up from here.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about your agency, your Foxy Defense and Protection?
Oh, yes, ma'am. So, when I was in patrol, right now I am the recruit training coordinator for Fort Worth PD. So, in simple terms, that means that I am the person who coordinates all of the recruit classes if there's one, two, or three going on at one time. And I make the schedule, I get the instructors, I provide the material, I grade the test, I don't know. They
You
say
do
I make the
everything.
place run, is what they say. So that's what I currently do. But when I was in patrol, I saw so many women that I encountered that were not comfortable defending themselves against their male counterparts, or if it was a brother, if it was a husband, if it was some family member or friend, because a lot of the assaults were people, or the offenders were people that they knew. It wasn't somebody that was a stranger.
Mhm.
About 3% are strangers when it comes to assaults. And I felt like there's something that I can do. If I am in this position, I've learned all of this on how to tell what a domestic violence cycle is and how to communicate effectively with people to get them to understand your point of view and how to gain confidence in yourself, because being a female in law enforcement and Black at the same time, that's we had to rally ourselves as Black police officer women and encourage each other and figure out how we can grow um, independently in order to come together collectively. So that's what I learned. I said I might as well portray this into my community because I don't like what I see. And how can I change that? Well,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to teach them self-defense and how to protect themselves in those situations. So when I started in 2018, majority of my classes were held on Southwest or South Fort Worth because that's where I worked. I worked in Central Patrol. So that was where I wanted my audience to be. So from there, it was, well, since you don't have a physical location, can you come to Arlington? Can you come to Grand Prairie? Can you come to Mansfield? Can you come? So I started going to different locations because I don't have my own personal building that I work out of. It's not my full-time job, but if it was, I would. So that's how I started that particular business, and just it's grown from there.
Okay, thank you. And remember, ladies, if you have a question, just put it in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to give you the floor, Demetria, and you can just tell us some of the things that we as women can do or need to look out for to keep ourselves safe.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is these are not just going to be tips for women, but I also want you to share these with the older men in your life, if it's a father, an uncle, a figure like that, because some of these work for the elderly as well. So I specialize in teaching women self-defense, and my very first thing that I'm going to show you, I had to bring this one to show you. That's why I'm going to do it first, because if I say neck purse, people are going to be like, oh, what? So this is what I'm talking about. Okay. This is a neck purse, and it goes around my neck, and I can put it inside of my shirt. Okay.
Oh,
So it's big enough to where I can put all of my important information in it, but small enough to where it is not easily taken away from me. So I would encourage you to find some type of neck purse that you are comfortable with and use that as your purse instead of a physical purse that you put on your shoulder or as a crossbody. Why would you say that, Demetra? Because it's a lot harder for somebody to see this neck purse inside of your shirt and take it from you than it is for an open purse or a crossbody. Crossbodies normally hit us around our hip area, right? And it's easy for somebody to grab that and go. If it's attached to a strap or not, it's more than likely if they grab hard enough, they can get their crossbody and go. But if it's an open purse, same deal. They can grab that and go, stick their hand in it and go. So I would encourage women to get something like a neck purse and keep your just important information in there. You don't need everything. So a little bit of a credit card, your driver's license, some cash, keep that information right in this neck purse and keep it moving. Even if you have some chips, lip chap, because I'm big on lip chap. If my lips are chapped, I feel some type of way. So I keep my lip chap in there too. So lip chap and then those important information, documents, and money, and keep it going. So that's one thing that I want to say. Something else is this is for the males because I see there's one male tuned in, and I would say a dummy wallet. So carry a dummy wallet, or encourage the men, older men, even younger men in your life to carry a dummy wallet. What is a dummy wallet? When a robber says, "Give me your wallet," you give them a wallet. It doesn't have to have anything in it, or it may just have $1 in it. But that's the wallet that you would give them and let them go on about their business versus the wallet that you're going to keep in your pocket, your shirt pocket here, or in a sock or somewhere else on your person if you are a male, because that's your real wallet and that's where you're going to keep your real information. But if you are giving out a dummy wallet, now they get what they thought they came for, and now they're gone. Okay. So our goal is to remain safe, not to sit and fight and argue with somebody. So in order to remain safe, give them what they want. They're going to leave and you're going to leave. Okay. Any questions about those two yet?
I don't see anything in the chat room as of yet. But are there people that don't want to give? I mean, don't want to give them my things, but I will give it to you. That are that try to fight them.
Well, yeah. I would say if you are not comfortable with face-to-face, hands-on contact, just give them what they're asking for and replace those items later, because your life is more important than a wallet, than a purse, and your family depends on you every day to be there for them. So how are you going to be there for them? You're going to remain safe and give them what they ask for, and then replace what has been lost.
Well, I saw something, I think it was on television, and they were talking about women do this all the time, and I found myself doing it. They said when we get in the car, and then we start looking at our phones.
Yeah,
And
we
so
do that.
I had gone walking up at South Campus. And so, my walking buddy didn't go with me. So I got in the car and I'm sitting there and I think I can go home and do this. Because he said, just get in your car and go. People have been watching you.
So I would encourage that as well. Just get in the car and go. Don't sit in there and get on social media, because now they have more time to plan how they're going to attack you. Now they have more time to look at your car and look at your doors, look at their access points to see how they can get in contact or make contact with you. If they're going to act like they're homeless and need something from you or whatever it is, now they're reading you. They're reading your body language. Oh, she's a small stature. I may be able to take her. She didn't have pepper spray in her hand or whatever. You don't know what's going through their mind. Just like you're sizing them up, they're sizing you up as well. I always say, make sure you speak to people. Just anybody you see, just speak to them. And when you speak to them, they are either going to go one direction or the next. And it determines if you're going to be their next victim or not. Because if you are walking with your head down and you're not making eye contact or you're looking at your cell phone, okay, that's the perfect victim for them, because now you can't pick them out in a lineup. But if I'm speaking to you, I know about how tall you are. I know what color your shirt is. I know if you're bald, if you have hair, if you're wearing glasses, what color are your eyes. I can pinpoint that information just by a simple glance at you. So now I have enough information to give them if you decide to attack me, versus if I'm walking with my head down and not making eye contact. So that's a little bit about that as well. But I also wanted to say, for some safety tips, when you're using an ATM machine, use an ATM machine inside of a store. Don't use one that is outside of a bank, because you want to be in a well-lit area. You also want to make sure that, and don't count your money in the car. Don't get it, go to the car and make sure that it's right. And no, don't do that. Do that when you get home. Again, you don't want to be target. You don't want to make yourself a target, because being female is enough. So we don't want to increase the chances of us being attacked by anyone. Okay.
We have a
Uh,
question, and they
no, go
said
ahead.
they know you sell items. What are other gadgets we should carry besides pepper spray?
Okay, so pepper spray is very, very effective. That's the my number one. I don't want to say weapon, but my number one product, I guess you could say, that people won't like. And it's because it's small. You can fit it in your purse. The particular ones that I have, you put on your belt loop. So you can put it right on your belt. So that's pepper spray. But then stun guns, if you don't like pepper spray, if you don't know what your effects are of pepper spray, and you don't, or if you know what your effects are of pepper spray and you don't like it, switch to something else like a stun gun. And a stun gun is different than a taser, because a stun gun, you hold in your hand and you actually touch the person with the voltage, and it gives them a shock to their body. And the particular stun gun that I use to sell is a streetwise stun gun, and I use that only because it has a lanyard attached to it. If that lanyard is not inserted inside of the stun gun will not work. So that means you put the lanyard around your wrist, you're holding the stun gun, and if that person does not, if the person grabs the stun gun from you and tries to use it on you, it will not work, because they're going to take it out of that lanyard. So that's why I say use a stun gun that has a lanyard with a mechanism that's going to make it inoperable if somebody tries to take it from you or does take it from you. And then a knife, or a stun gun is different than a taser, because I didn't tell you that. I mentioned it, but didn't tell you. So a taser actually has probes that come out and stick to a person. So that's what is normally used in law enforcement, or you see tasers. It's tasers, and it's sticking to the person here, and it's causing them a shock, and they're falling to the ground. So that's what gun and a taser. Stun gun, you have to actually make contact with the person, and taser has the probes that come out and stick inside of the person. Okay, and then you have knives. If you're comfortable carrying a knife, I like the knife that is a 3-part knife, because it has the knife itself, and then it has a seatbelt cutter, and it also has a window breaker attached to it. So you have the knife where it opens, and then you have the bottom. So if you was to hold the knife like this, the part that sticks out right there would be the part that you would hit the window with, and that becomes very important. I like to tell my college girls this. Very important if you are kidnapped, because now you're in the backseat of somebody's car, and something as simple, so small, the knife is about this size here. And you can use that to break the window. You don't have to hit the window extremely hard. I've used this at work, so I know that it works. And I used it at work on a baby that was locked inside of the car seat. So right there at the window, you don't want the window to shatter on the baby. So we don't want to hit the window really hard. And on the other side had a deranged mom inside who was blocking that window. So we had to use the window that was closest to the baby. And the simplest tap to that window shattered it on the outside. So it fell out and not in towards the baby, which was really good too. So that part works. And then a seatbelt cutter. So they have you, even with zip ties, you can use that seatbelt cutter to cut zip ties. Okay, if you can get it, if you have it attached to your belt and you can get it right to your hands to cut zip ties, it works that way too. So those are the 3 that I like, but I also have door alarms that I like to use, and it's a door alarm, but it's something so simple that we use to keep doors closed, like a jammer, but we need to use them. Oh, we use them to keep doors open, but we need to use them to keep doors closed. So it's just a little door stop, but it has an alarm mechanism that if somebody is entering your home, the alarm is going to sound. So that alerts you to know, okay, I need to wake up, because I placed the door stop on the inside of the door to where if somebody pushes the door, it's going up like this. So now I hear that somebody's coming in and I can go and get a weapon, or I can call 911. It gives you a chance to act versus you reacting to them being over you already, the
Mhm.
intruder being in your home already, okay, if you're sleeping. So you have a door alarm, or if you're traveling and you don't want to carry the door alarm with you, just go to the 99-cent store, dollar store, and buy a simple door stop. They're not expensive at all. So a simple door stop works. But those are some main products that I like to recommend that most women get.
Since you mentioned the doorstop, I'm thinking about when we travel and you go to a hotel. What are some of the precautions you should take when you travel and you're staying in a hotel, especially if you're traveling by yourself?
Oh, yes. So number one is, again, have that door stop. If you are in a combined room, a conjoined room, make sure that door is locked. And even if you're not, the main door that you're coming in and out of, make sure you keep that door locked as well. We don't know the criminal history of the people that's working in these facilities. So those, it sounds simple, but it's things that we don't do. Oh man, the door locks automatically when I'm walking inside of the hotel room, so I don't have to lock the other doors or the use the other locks. Yes, you do need to use the other locks. Um, let's see, making sure you're using a credit card because it's the holiday season, and even when you're traveling, using a credit card instead of your debit card, it's easier for you to get the money back on a credit card. It's almost instant that they return the money while they do the investigation
Mhm.
to determine if it was fraudulent or not. But you want that to happen on a credit card versus the card that you use for your monthly bills. So holiday season, I would say from about November to February, make sure you're
Mhm.
using a credit card if you're doing purchases, even out to eat, because we don't know what's going on with the card when it's away from us. So even out to eat, use a credit card instead of a debit card. Even traveling, use the credit card instead of a debit card. And you can make the payment as soon as you as
Mhm.
soon as it's no longer pending. But initially, I would recommend you use a credit card.
Okay. Okay, ladies, remember now you can ask tough questions. Another one that I have is about riding elevators. And I work at a campus and it has three banks of elevators. And for some strange reason, I wind up with a 9:30 class at night. And it made and they never miss. They never miss. They would come in, they would go to sleep, they would eat dinner, they would go take a shower in the gym because they were getting off work. It was like 18 people that never missed, and we were on the seventh floor. But I always tried to make sure that when we left, we all left together. We all got in
Mhm.
that same elevator. We all parked on the same floor. I had some people that never would follow the instructions or whatever, but it always bothers me about elevators, especially if if you're by yourself.
Okay, so for elevators, stand close to the keypad in the elevators.
Mhm.
Most of us like to, when the elevator opens, we're going in, and if there's nobody already in there, we're going in and we're maybe standing to the back before we're facing forward. No, try your best to scoot in to where the keypad is, because that's where you're going to press for help if there is an emergency. So stand close to the keypad if you're in the elevator. So if you're by yourself, just make it a habit. Every time you get in the elevator, wherever side that the numbers is on, that's the side you need to stand close to, and that's where you need to stand in front of. Yeah, I can press that number to the floor for you, but I'm gonna stand right here because just in case I need help, I need to be able to push that button.
Okay, okay. And another one that I had was that what if we are out at night and let's say we have a flat tire? What's the best thing to do if we're out at night? And I used to tell my girls, just drive on the rim. Call somebody and just drive on the rim. We can get a new tire, a new rim.
Yeah, drive on the rim to it's gonna sound so bad. Drive on the rim to QT because within the next 20 to 30 minutes, I guarantee if you're in Fort Worth, I guarantee you there's gonna be a police officer that pulls up. Now, most of y'all are thinking, yeah, right? I do see police officers in Fort Worth at QTs a lot. Yes, that is our spot. But if you're not in Fort Worth, if you live outside of the Fort Worth area, drive on that rim until you find the closest police station or fire station. Firefighters work 24-hour shifts. And not just the fire station that has the engines in it. Look for the fire station that looks like a house where they have their cars there. Because the ones that just have engines, that's all it is. It's just the engine. Even the police stations. If you're gonna drive to a police station, make sure you see personal cars there. That means that somebody's there versus regular police cars, because we store cars at some locations and there's nobody there. So people think that the location that I work at, the police academy and the fire training academy that's off of West Felix, people think that they can come in there after hours and get assistance. There's nobody there after 5 o'clock. So we see that on the camera all the time where they're pulling on the door and they're so confused. And it's because it's a training academy. It's not a police station. So you have police officers and firefighters there, but that's not our primary job is not to help the public. It is to train, because it's a training academy, training facility. So that's a tip there. But drive to your closest police station or fire station, and then be on the phone as you're rolling with somebody that you trust to get to that location.
Oh, okay, okay. I know with everything going on, everybody's running out and getting concealed handgun licenses. Do
Mm-hmm.
you suggest that? And if you do, and if the how do you figure out if let's say the female gets the license and the
Mm-hmm.
next step is to get a gun, but it's a lot of guns, and
Yeah.
so who do you consult? Maybe they may have a husband, boyfriend, or father, but they may be by themselves. So
Uh-huh. So before you take a concealed handgun license course to get your concealed handgun license, I suggest taking like a guns 101 course. So some places, or a ladies gun class, something that is an introduction to guns class first. That way you can understand the mechanisms of a weapon, and then most of the time those classes will go over, this is a Glock, this is a Sig Sauer, this is a Beretta, or whatever type of weapon that they have. This is a 9mm, this is a 40 cal, this is a 45 cal, this is the power that each of them are able or capable of. And this is what's preferred for women, or this is the one that my wife likes, or this is the one that whatever. So I would suggest doing a guns 101 class to understand how a gun works and play with it pretty much before you take a class, because once you hit the class, you want to be certified or licensed in that particular weapon that you're going to be using consistently. So I don't want you to go and take a concealed handgun license class and they have Glocks back here for you to use that you sign out and use, or bring your own ammo or something, and then you go home and you're like, now which one should I buy? You buy a Sig Sauer. You've never practiced with that. You've never used it. You've never handled it. So that's not going to be the most effective for you if you're getting into a situation where you need to use the weapon and depend on it to work. So take a gun 101 class first, understand that, and then take the concealed handgun license class. I would say get the class or take the class if you know that you are okay shooting the weapon. So some people are like, oh man, I need to have a gun because it's crazy out here. But if you talk one-on-one with that person, they're not okay taking somebody's life. So if you're not okay with taking somebody's life, then a gun is not for you, because you're going to do more damage than good. You're going to scare yourself. You may drop it. You're going to be shaking. I'm not confident in using this particular thing. So now it gives an advantage to the offender if they know how to use the weapon, or if they realize that you're not comfortable in using that weapon. So once you take that concealed handgun class and you get your license, practice once a month. So stay consistent with that type of training, because if you don't, you'll lose it. It's just like anything else. I haven't ridden a bike in years, and then I'm like, I need to get this baby fat off, and I got on a bike and was like, okay, all right, okay, all right, yeah, yep, this is how you do it. Skating, same thing. If you haven't been skating in years and then you go skating, I was like, I used to rollerblade and I used to, hey. And then it's like, oh, wait, oh, hold on. Let me hold on for a little bit. Okay, now I'm getting more comfortable. And it's because you don't do it all the time. So same thing with the weapon. If you don't, in self-defense, if you don't practice this continuously, you're going to lose it. So practice once a month, and keep up on those skills, and you'll be more confident when it comes time for you to use it.
Okay. We had somebody said that Shoot Point Blank in North Richland Hills offers female training classes. So
Yeah, they do. They offer, and I think it's once a month that they have those classes. But there are a lot of places that you can choose from, if you don't live in the Arlington area. So just do your research for it. Look at the reviews. Look at what people have to say about it before you go to that particular class. So yeah.
Okay. And another question, what about getting gas? You know, people, I'm smiling because, you know, Carol is my sister. Our mother never learned to put gas in her car because she said that was not her job. So, yeah, I mean, and she's been gone, you know, a good number of years, but there was one man that owned the service station that we said did all the widow ladies, you know, he would do their gas for them. But it's like, I don't stop to get gas at night. I will drive on fumes. If I look down and I rarely ever run out of, you know, hear my little thing going off, but I will run on fumes. What's the precautions we should take when we're at the gas station, even in the daytime,
You're
even
running
if
on
we're
grace and
in love?
mercy. That's what you're running on, grace and mercy. Running on fumes. But some precautions you can take before you get out of your car to pump gas: lock your doors. So my car, I lock all the doors, and then I just open my driver's door. So that prevents somebody being able to get inside of your car through another door before you get out of your car or while you're pumping gas. So you may not be able to see your passenger door or the two doors, the right or the rear right passenger door. So if you lock the doors and just leave those three locked, and then your door, your driver's door, is unlocked, then that right there is a safety mechanism right there. And then use the gas pumps that are inside, that are in the middle. Don't use the gas pumps that are on the outside, because I mean, people can see, but if something's going on, somebody inside the store is going to have a better view of what's going on right in the middle where the pumps are versus the pumps that are on the outside. So use the pumps that are closest, in the middle, and lock your three doors before you get out. And then keep your head on a swivel. So always be aware of your surroundings. Keep looking around. Again, let people know that I see you. I see you. I don't know what I see. So just keep your head on the swivel. That's called faking it till you make it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I just know my head's supposed to be on the swivel. If you think that you finna approach me, now I'm ready. Now I'm aware. Now I'm aware of what's around me.
Okay. Somebody wrote, even with COVID-19, people are still going out and shopping. What are your top tips to stay safe when you're shopping in the malls and going to your vehicle with packages?
So don't shop by yourself. So that's my number one thing for that. Is not shopping by yourself, making sure that you have somebody else that's with you, especially if you know that you're going to acquire a lot of packages while you're out. So have that person get, you know, half the packages and you have half of them. You keep your head on a swivel. You have your stun gun and your pepper spray or your knife ready in your hand. So not too many packages to where you can't put those in your hand while you're walking up to your car. If you're parking in a garage versus parking outside of a store itself, make sure you're parking close to the door. If you're not able to park close to the door, park on the first level. Don't park on the very top level where you're walking up 2 and 3 floors to get to your car. So, and make sure that it's in a area of the parking garage that's well lit, because in the daytime we can see that the lights may not be on, but you can see where the light will come on if it's dark by the time you make it outside of the store. So park close to where there's going to be light, and don't take the stairs. That's even daytime or nighttime. Don't take the stairs. A lot of the stairs in these types of places will have a like a little hidey hole that people can jump out on you from. So don't take the stairs, and steer clear of bushes. There may not be a lot of bushes if you're at a shopping mall or a shopping center, maybe just out front in the front of the store. If it's like a Dillard's, Macy's type store, it may be bushes out front there.
Mhm.
But stay clear of those as well.
Okay. And another question said, "What's our best bodily weapon if we need to attack?"
Like
Are
like hand like you mean like if it's my hands or my
you-
voice or my feet or something? Okay. So I would say your hands. First line of self-defense is your presence. And then I would say your voice. So now your presence. Am I confident? Do I look confident in myself? Because that's again is gonna determine if somebody's gonna mess with you. And then your voice. Get back, leave me alone. That type of stuff. Be making sure you're using your voice. Those are good weapons there because it's 2020 and people love to pull out their cameras before they do anything else. So you want to be on camera saying, "Stop." I heard her say stop. I heard her say help. I heard her say leave me alone. I heard her say all of those things. And that will help you later down the line versus, "Oh my God, stop, get back." You can barely hear that. Or if nobody says anything at all, you won't hear that. So use your voice and then your hands. If your hands are readily available, you know what your strong hand is. We've all had play fights. You use your palm heel strike, which is just pretty much hitting somebody with the palm of your hand and forcefully going out, punching them in a place on their face. So if it's the eye, if it's the nose, I wouldn't necessarily say the mouth, but the most effective part would be right up here under the nose. So if you accidentally get hit in the nose, you know how painful that is. Just imagine how much force or how much more effective it would be if you put force
Mhm.
behind it. So use your hands. Kicking, I'm a little clumsy, so that's not my best thing. I would tell you to use your feet because I may be a little off balance. I see my best friend is on here laughing at me because she understands and she knows that I am just a little bit clumsy. And I wouldn't recommend if you're not comfortable and if you're not practicing how to kick on a consistent basis, you don't want to do it in a time where your life matters.
Okay. And another question said, "Can you talk about the mile mark if your car breaks down?"
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
you're
feel
laughing.
like,
I want to hear too.
okay. So, what had happened was, that's how all good stories start. What happened was, I was on my way to Sam Houston again, because I know who wrote that question. My mama wrote that question. So, I was on my way to Sam Houston and I had a flat and I didn't know where I was because my dad was like, "Call 911 and tell them where you are. I'll call the insurance, blah, blah, blah." And so I was like, "Okay." So I call 911 and they're like, "Okay, where's the close? What mile marker did you last pass?" I was like, "The what?" And she said, "Mile marker. What mile marker did you pass, ma'am?" I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea. And so she said, and she explained to me what it was. She said it's a green sign. It's about this thick, and it says a number. It has a number on it, and it says mile number. I was like, I don't remember passing that. And so from that point on, I realized how important a mile marker was. They're placed every mile. They may look different depending on what state you travel through, but it's literally a green stake in the grass that says mile and a number. It's sometimes equivalent with the exit number. So use those, pay attention to those because that's how somebody is going to locate you. If it's a law enforcement or if it's a towing company, whatever, that's lingo in their world of where your location is. Also, the police officer in me wants you to know if you have an accident, know where you are, know which highway you're on and which direction you are facing. I cannot tell you how many times we have been called to accidents and the accident is on 35 North and they say 35 south. So now, you know, everybody's nosy. So now I got to try and get all the way back around on the other side of the highway because you don't know which direction you facing, and beat traffic and come through traffic with my license sirens on and air horn people to move out of the way because you don't know where you are. So make sure you know at all times which direction you're facing, where you're traveling, which highway you're on, and which mile marker is closest to you.
Okay. I know that just me personally, and I know my child is on here too. When I finally start letting her come home by herself after school, she was told that you open the door and you hear the beep because the alarm is gonna go off if you don't get there in time. So, but if you don't hear the beep, you are to drop your books and run next door to Aunt Gail's house. So my child said she always did that. So I got home early one time and cut the alarm off. Sat there as she came through the door, no beeping going on, just bopping along until I said, "Hey." And she said, "I knew you were here." She did not know I was here. My thing is, and I'm still that way now because I turn the alarm on all the time. If I don't hear the beep, I just go out. Now I might go back in, but I go out. I don't unlock my door. You know, you can unlock you can cut your alarm off from your car now. I
Mm-hmm.
don't because I said it might be somebody in there.
Right.
So
I
I don't cut
agree.
mine off until my husband said, "Oh, we'll just cut it off." Well, then you go in and see if somebody's in there.
Right.
So I know it's kind of strange, but I guess I'm paranoid about those things, So if I don't hear it, I don't go in, those kind of things.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
agree. I wouldn't either. So I do have the capability as well to turn off my alarm from my car from my app on my phone,
Mhm.
and I won't do it either. Now I'll let the garage up because that's the only way I can get inside is if I let it
Mhm.
up from the app from outside. But I'm not letting it up while I'm a block away. I'm letting it up as I'm in the driveway so I can see if somebody is going to run inside of the house while I'm letting it up, or even letting it down. Same thing. While you're letting it down, make sure that you're waiting for it to hit the ground completely before you're driving out of your driveway. So I agree 110% with that. With cars, your GPS, if you set your GPS to home, use the address to the local Walmart, Albertson, Kroger,
Mhm.
something that you know how to get home from as your home address.
Oh.
Because if your car is stolen, you don't want somebody to push the go home button and now they have access to your house. Some people may have their garage opener set to 1, 2, or 3 inside of their car. So now you push home and now they can get to your house. They push 1, 2, or 3. Now they can get inside of your house. And for us, we have a door that is in between the garage and the home. So we lock that door. So now that you can get in my house because you have the garage door opener that's attached to the car, now you can't get inside of the house. So now you're stuck. You're going to have to try and kick it in or do something else to get access to our house. So keep that door locked as well. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? The door that's okay. All right.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And
set the GPS to something else other than your actual home address.
okay, and we have time for one more, and it says, "Can we travel with emergency lights onto a better place that's lit when pulled over by police?"
Yes, I would encourage that. And so, I know for myself and a few of my other counterparts, we're gonna get over on the mic and say, keep going or keep going, turn to your left or something because we don't want to get hit either. That's how most police officers are killed is in traffic, some type of traffic incident. And it's where they're pulled over and either inside of the car waiting for a wrecker or they're outside of the car talking to somebody on the scene of an accident because the lights are very attractive to drunk drivers, who is the most likely person to cause that accident. So those lights are very attractive to them, and that's what's drawing them over. And now they don't have control of their speed because they're under the influence of something, and they have now hit our car and hit your car or hit us. In you as outside of the car. So we encourage for you to get out of the way and move over to a safer location. Don't just, oh, the lights are behind me, let me pull over on this 2-lane highway or this 1-lane highway. Nope. go up to the next exit, pull over to a food restaurant or something like that. So yeah, I would highly encourage that.
Okay. Well, tell us again about your agency, and tell us the things that you offer and where you're located, your website, because we might have somebody that's looking for a class.
Okay, so my website is www.foxydefensepro.com, FOXYDEFENSEPRO.com, and there you can find all of whatever information you're looking for. You can find it there. So I am having my first class after having baby London will be January 2nd. That's our next self-defense class. And then we will have another one the first Saturday in February. And my goal for 2021 is to have some type of, thank you, is to have some type of class every first Saturday. So it may be for women 18 and up, or it could be college self-defense class, or it could be the one that's for younger girls from the ages of 7 till about 10th to 11th grade. So sometimes that age varies, but that's the grade level that I'm looking for. So middle school, or entering or exiting elementary school, starting middle school up through 10th to 11th grade. And then you have 11th and 12th grade up through college. And then you have 18 and up if that person's not in college, if that lady is not in college. So those are the classes that I offer. Is on the website as well. And then because I couldn't run certain ads to promote those particular classes with the weapons page up, I took that page down, but I will put it back up tonight in just a few moments in case people are interested in purchasing a weapon of some sort. So if you're interested in the stun guns, the pepper spray, all of that, and we'll also offer free shipping for 24 hours. So I'll turn that page back on as soon as this live is over, and I will let you shop for the next 24 hours on their website. Prices are already discounted from Black Friday, so I'm going to leave it that way and let you have free reign. So again,
And
Demetra Bradley, www.thisisyourbestyear.com.
Okay, somebody just put it up for you. It's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, and it says we can carry, one last thing. They said we can carry stun guns anywhere. Can you carry a stun gun anywhere?
You can't carry them inside of the airport. So if you're traveling, you cannot have pepper spray or a stun gun on your keychain or on your carry-on. If you put it inside of the luggage itself, you will be fine. But on my website, there is a portion that says regulations for stun guns and pepper spray, so you'll know what states you can carry those in or not. Because I won't sell, if I see an address for I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'll have to look on the website and see, but maybe it's Virginia or something. They are not able to have stun guns in Virginia, so I will not make a sale to that particular person because I know that they can't have it there. So what's the point? So look at the website and get the information before you're traveling somewhere to see if it's okay for you to have it in that state. So if you're inside of Texas, you're good putting it on the luggage that gets on the plane, but not on your actual carry-on bag.
Okay. Thank you, Demetra. I think we learned a whole bunch.
You're welcome.
And we can be safer, and we can, tell our friends about it also. This was really good because I never thought about certain things, especially about the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought about that one at all because most people, like you said, you just hit that button up there and your garage door is going open. And I still know people who don't lock that door between their garage and going in the house. They just, nobody's going to get in, but
it's convenient. It's convenient to have it unlocked. It's convenient. It's access to my own house. So it's convenient. But again, you never want to use that, but in case you have to, it's in place to prevent something from happening. There was also, it was two other things that I wanted to say for safety tips that we didn't get to. Can I say those real quick? Do you mind?
No, you can say them.
Okay, so the next one was about home repairs. So in case there is somebody in your home fixing your TV, fixing something in your restroom, your AC, whatever, you have home repairs where somebody is on the outside coming to the inside of your home. When they are done with that repair, go through your home and make sure all of your doors and windows are locked. Why do I say that? So when I was a patrol officer, a lady was raped, and the person that raped her was a repairman, and he gained access to her home through the window in her bathroom. He unlocked the window in her bathroom before he left, getting done fixing her toilet or whatever it was, whatever the repair was. He unlocked that bathroom window and then waited till nighttime and entered her home through that particular window and raped her. So now that's stuck in my head. I'll never forget that, from her telling me that. That's something that we would never think about. So after a home repair, make sure you're going back through your home and locking the doors and windows, or making sure that they're still locked. And then the other thing was, what was it? Oh, keep your phone and keys on your person and not in your purse. So when I was talking about the neck purse, make sure you can keep your phone and keys on your person as well, because if somebody does snatch your purse, if you don't have the neck purse, you want to be able to get in your vehicle and you want to be able to call 911. So keep your phone in your pocket, on your side pocket, in this pocket up here, because that's a purse. This one, that's a purse. So keep your phone and keys on your person. Don't keep it in your purse. That was it.
Okay, no, that's really good, because I never thought about going behind that person. But I'm always paranoid when they're here if I'm by myself. So I'll have, pretend I'm on the phone, or I'll call my sister and we'll talk or whatever, those kind of things. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming. It was wonderful. I appreciate everybody for coming. And you can follow us at www.thisisyourbestyear.com. And we're going to have another one, but this is One Boss Woman here. Thank you, Demetra.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Y'all be safe.